Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Busy hour lined up. We'll get into tonight's loaded card in the NBA with some player props. That's in 15 minutes. Bottom of the hour, Arash Markazi from L.A. Luka makes his debut tonight for the Lakers as well, and we'll get into a little bit of legacy talk as well. Pauly, 40-22 was the final score. Eagles dominant yesterday. Their A game, as we said, leading into the playoffs and last couple of weeks, the best in football, and it certainly played out that way yesterday. You look ahead, DraftKings has them at 6-1 to win it next season. I know this not going to be easy, and before we get into their entire schedule, they will host the opening game on Thursday night next year to begin the season. So there are 3 divisional opponents, or they get the Bears, Lions, Raiders, Rams, and Broncos. Those are the home opponents next year.
What a list.
Who would you like to see?
They will put the Lions on.
I kind of think that way, too.
That's the game we wanted to see anyways in the NFC title game. Mm-hmm. I think they'll go Lions. It's a sexy matchup.
I mean, that's a juggernaut right there, that game.
Who knows? Fully healthy would have been an unbelievable game, but just unfortunate what happened. The Eagles would have destroyed the Lions.
Well, yeah, the Lions team that lost to Washington, they would have gotten smoked.
Yeah, just see, they wouldn't have punted, gone up and down the field. But so you have great options there. Please don't do Dallas.
I'm begging you,
don't do it.
I'm also gonna say, don't do Bears.
Yeah.
Because that
I can get behind it, though.
Okay, that also
Ben
might
Johnson.
be 38-10.
All right, I see.
So you know what I'm saying? In his first game, we don't know what the Bears are going to be like. I don't know about that.
I could see Commanders rematch, easy sell. I could see if Stafford comes back. I could see how good are the Rams.
That's a good game.
The Rams almost won the game in Philly in a blizzard.
Oh, if Stafford comes back, that team is going to be outstanding next year.
Yep, with their defense and that was a great year they had. And to think you had the champs on the ropes. You're in the red zone trying to win the game in Philly.
They gave the toughest game.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, you're not... Okay, let me rephrase. I'm not betting the Eagles at 6-1. I don't think it's a good bet. First of all, that number, you don't want to tie up your money for a year on something like that in the NFL. But also, those are the home teams. Can I give you the away teams for Philadelphia next year?
Yeah.
At Buffalo. At Green Bay, at Kansas City.
Oh, man.
At the Chargers, at the Vikings, at Tampa.
Come on. At Tampa again?
That is murderer's row on the road next year.
What do you make the win total?
I'm sure it'll be, 11.5?
Oh, that's crazy.
I couldn't get there with that. I got,
schedule.
That schedule, it's by the way, same thing as Detroit. Detroit's schedule next year is similar. So I'm not going to be touching either one of those teams at now their reduced prices compared to what they were this past season. Adam Burke had a write-up today at vsin.com. He wanted to go down the board a little bit more. At DK, Chiefs are 7-1. Bills are 7. Ravens are in that same neighborhood. Actually, they have the Lions at 10. But
I want no part of that. I want no part of Detroit. I want no part of San Francisco. Now they're going to trade Debo. And it was a bad year for Purdy, and I can't get there with those two teams.
If you told me right now that Stafford's coming back for the Rams, I would look at betting them. They're 28-1, maybe even a little bit better.
Right. And Kupp's gone, but he didn't do anything.
No, he was a non-factor for most of the year.
Yes.
They'll be fine. Puka's a true number 1 overall. The running game is awesome. And my God, the young players that they have on the defensive line, they destroy. Think about that, by the way. Think about that Philly offensive line and how good those Rams young players played in that divisional round playoff game. I mean, that was super impressive. And Hurts was banged up, I get it, but they showed up and almost won that game for them. Adam Burke threw out a couple of teams. And you have to consider, obviously, division's going to be a big talking point here.
I know where he's going.
Texans?
Oh, no, really?
30-1.
Oh, no.
The defense is, no question, that unit is legit.
I thought he might go Jacksonville.
He did not.
Because of the division and new coach. And made the playoffs a couple years ago. Okay.
Yeah, so the defense, they have the parts to be really, really good. They were awesome this year.
Yep.
You can expect a bounce back, you would think, from Stroud. But also, they got Bobby Slowick out of there, which had to happen because his play calling was atrocious. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, again, Jacksonville, Tennessee has the number 1 pick, and they have Indy.
And the injuries. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was losing guys all the time.
For sure. Guys were dropping like flies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, not bad.
And then
I could see it. Yep. Great defense. Yep.
Did you want to make a case for Jacksonville?
Well, I'm going to do more on this tomorrow. But remember the Bill Barnwell tweet? There's always a team that comes out of. There's always a team that wins 3, 4, 5 games and makes the playoffs. And
they have a winning record the next year.
Yeah. So we've seen Washington, Houston, Cincinnati. I mean, the
Chargers did it this year.
Yeah,
they went from 5 to 11.
There you go. So I would be my candidate because of the division.
Okay, as long as you brought this up.
But that's also, and I was also thinking, you might laugh at me if they can fix the defense because of the division. I think Atlanta's going to be scary again on offense.
That's another pick.
Can you get it? Yeah, can you get a good defense?
Adam Burke said 65-1.
Yeah, how good was Penix when he was in there? They went to Washington on that Sunday night game, and they had him down multiple scores in the third quarter.
Sure. I think Penix is going to be the real deal. Again, I don't like the head coach. I made the mistake of getting behind Atlanta this year. But if they make a couple of right moves in the draft, maybe in the offseason, add to the defense to get a little bit better in that division, with the Saints, new head coach, Carolina, they're on the uptick, obviously. Tampa Bay is going to be a problem because Mayfield's awesome, and they still have plenty of parts on that team. But I don't hate Atlanta at 65-1. So what you were talking about, the official Bill Barnwell tweet that goes back to like 2022, he pointed out then about 1 in 4 teams who win 5 games or fewer post a winning record the following year. Mm-hmm. Again, this year, it was the Chargers. They went from 5 to 11. You brought up Washington. They went from 4 to 12. And the overall candidates this next year would be the Patriots, the Jets, no more Aaron Rodgers.
Or Devontae Adams. I can't get there. No.
Can you get there?
I can't get there with the Patriots either.
Okay.
That's going to be popular, but they have to bring in some skill position players. Yeah. But I love their coach.
And I think May's the real deal on top of that. And
we have to slow down, though, because we did the same thing with Mac Jones.
Also, that division, other than Buffalo,
do
you love Miami? I don't. The Jets had a terrible season. See, this would be...
Arizona doesn't qualify, but Arizona played hard. Arizona had a good year. And my Arizona, Miami in that same spot, 60-70. Hill said all the right things. He apologized to the team. I think they make the playoffs if Tua doesn't get hurt. They had some ugly losses. You just got to – McDaniel has to do a better job. The biggest indictment, I'm going to rip them coming up. It's a disgrace. They celebrated. Players celebrated last year when they let Fangio go on social media. That's all you need to know about that outfit and organization.
It was too hard on him.
That's a joke.
Way to go, guys. You're football players.
I know there's all that talent. You made the playoffs last year, but oh boy, that's so bad. And if I'm the owner, I have to look at everyone involved saying, how is that? This isn't a country club. I mean, that's just unbelievable they would do that. And then, okay, the guy's great, and the team that hires him wins the Super Bowl.
Sure. So the 2 teams that really popped over the last couple of years, obviously, would have been Houston and Washington.
Yep.
What did they have in common? They had a brand new coach, a coaching staff, and they had rookie quarterbacks. And they both worked out, obviously, exceedingly well. So which team's picking near the top of the draft? I don't know if Tennessee goes quarterback overall. I don't care if they do. I know it's a weak division. I don't think their coach is any good. I can't get behind anything with Tennessee at this point. I would like to make the case for maybe Cleveland, but think about what they have going against it. Because what if Cam Ward would drop to where they're picking in the draft, and then they take him, and he turns out to be this year's version of Jaden Daniels or C.H. Stroud? Mm-hmm. The problem is Garrett's asked for a trade, and they play in that division with the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens.
Okay. I'm also high if the Patriots could get Higgins, but also I'm surprised you haven't. I want a better price. I'm surprised because you've been on them in the past as Cincinnati, like 25-1 on the Bengals. We're gonna lose out. We're gonna fix the defense, but they're not gonna slow down offensively.
No,
Burrow and Chase are too good.
Right. And I think Chase Brown, by the way, is going to be.
Yeah.
He was quite the weapon at running back this year.
It's an all-time bad defense, which is how you can't take any futures on the Colts.
How much does
they hire Lou as their DC?
How much does injury history, the division, and their head coach scare you? The Bengals. I am not a big fan of the head coach there either.
I know, but I just.
But you think talent overcomes that?
Yeah.
Like it did a couple of years ago. How about the Chargers and Harbaugh? Mm-hmm. Almost 30-1.
Yeah. The big thing is, can someone can win that division, take it from Kansas City, or does it, and I know it didn't work out last year, but it was ridiculous. Make them go on the road for a couple games. That's the other one, too. Like Miami, you got to have a 1 or a 2 seed. Hasn't worked out for Baltimore either. Chargers, can you get a 1 or a 2 seed? Cincinnati, can you get a 1 or a 2 seed?
Chargers might be the team. I think Harbaugh is the nuts.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all.
I think sooner or later they're going to be like the 1 seed or division winner. So could be next year.
Ready to try something different? Sign up, start playing the ponies on First Bet, U.S.-based. Offers wagering on hundreds of races every day across the country and around the world. Sign up firstbet.com, promo code VSIN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days. Up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today.
Not going to make a case for the Vikings.
No.
Too much of an unknown there, although you got to love O'Connell. But again, the division, I know it was very good this year, and they won that many games, but I can't. They're 40-1. But can you do that, like having no idea what J.J. McCarthy's going to be like? I'm not going to get on board with that. And I think you're right. I think the wheels came off for the 49ers. So maybe their window's completely done. Who knows? Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Good job by the NBA. Huge slate of games coming up tonight, day after the Super Bowl. Both teams have been humming since the trade deadline, but I think the numbers have finally adjusted. I'll explain next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I'm as close as friends, so.
We'll get to the NBA card coming up in a little bit. Here you go, weekly spot. Nick Bogdanovich joins the program. Longtime Vegas odds maker with Circa Sports Gambling Hall of Famer as well. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
How'd the book do yesterday?
You know, we managed to survive. We made a few bucks with the Eagles winning, so wild game. I mean, a little bit of everything there, but I never expected a beatdown like that. Did you guys?
No.
Not like that, no.
Worst game I've ever seen Mahomes play. You concur?
You know, I just still can't believe the two best teams in the league and Philly's defensive line just dismantled that offensive line like it was varsity versus JV. It was damnedest thing I've ever seen because the line has always been good at KC. They've always protected Mahomes, or at least give him a little time to do what he does and get out of his pocket and make some plays, but they just blew him up every play. It was unbelievable. You didn't even have you watched 3 quarters of the very first quarter, you knew it was over.
Oh, well. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today. You thought it was that early, huh?
I thought it was that early.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
The defensive line was just so impressive, obviously. Second time that's happened now to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Similar to the it was actually better than what the Buccaneers did a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't blitz once. That's how they knew they didn't know when you know you don't have to blitz, it's game, set, and match.
Do you still know if I guess maybe it's a question for Fitz though, but did you still get Kansas City money in play? Because I saw it went from 10-1 to still plus 750 to win the game when it was 24-0. People still thought there could be Mahomes magic.
You know, probably because of what Brady did to Atlanta. Was that in their mind? If that would have
in my mind.
If that never happened, they probably say that, well, this can't happen. So I have a feeling that had a lot to do with it. I didn't monitor the in-play line, but there was, obviously props are being decided every single part of the entire game, and so even when it's a blowout, you got to still hang around and see what happens. And you saw some craziness.
You did, and they still won a little second half too. Yeah. You opened 6.5, got to 7. They couldn't cover that either.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Okay, so you had more money when kickoff came yesterday. You had more money overall on the Chiefs than you did on the Eagles. Yeah,
we took some big bets over the last two days. We had 4 bets on each side of over 200,000. So we had someone take Philly plus 1 for $500,000. Ooh. Philly plus 07 money line for $500,000. We had someone lay 1 with Kansas City to win $527,000. Then we had 3 more bets over $200,000 on the Chiefs. So the action heated up. Like the first 10 days, 11 days, it was like really pedestrian to say the least. But the last 48 to 72 hours, it really, really heated up. So it was a lot of fun.
How big was it Friday night going to pick?
Yeah, that was after we took the +1 for $500,000. So it was anytime you get a different number out there that someone else that the entire country doesn't have, then you're going to create a little action.
And you guys left it there for about an hour, right?
Yeah, it was up there for a little bit. So, but you don't want, obviously it's the Super Bowl. You don't want to play with too many numbers. So you don't, obviously pick helps that it's picked.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, like I said last week when I was on, I prefer games when in the 6.5 to 8 range. That way you get a lot of crazy money lines in the smaller joints. You can get a really good value laying 260 or 270. So not having a money line hurts a little.
I think the bettors kind of were saying the same thing maybe a little bit this year, until like the last 72 hours, right?
Yeah, and I don't. A lot of people were saying, it's KC again. They're worn out on them, but I don't think that's the case. People just love to gamble, and
that's it's a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's the last game of the year.
Right.
Yep. You want to get involved, and their next big event will be March Madness, so they're got about a month off. So
you're right. Crazy things did happen. When you were on with us last week, Hopkins was popular, right?
Yeah, that touchdown hurt us quite a bit because not only did they bet Hopkins to score a touchdown, that was the touchdown that put the game over. So we needed under there, as I'm sure most people did. So that got the game over. So that wasn't a good one. Another prop that wasn't very good was the Cooper DeJean touchdown. That cashed twice. Will there be a defensive score? Yes, got us for a little bit, but mainly someone bet like $700 on DeJean to score a touchdown at like 75 to 1.
Oh, you guys offered that?
High?
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah, I had that. It was
So
40-50. Yeah, they had it
On
here.
the anytime.
But he
anytime
moved the number.
DeJean. Yeah. So
Wow.
so someone made a nice little score there on him getting in. He was on the sideline. It looked like he was going to get bumped out.
Knock
but
him out.
He walked the tightrope.
Did you see the guy at another book? He bet him to win MVP and then cashed out for $50,000.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that move?
He was at one point he was the favorite. I mean,
he deserved to be the favorite at one point, right?
Yeah, but and then Hurts started making some plays with his legs and throwing. I mean, he was the leading rusher and threw a couple TDs. So and anytime it's close, it's going to the offensive player. But that guy had a live sweat.
I will say that's the one time. Well, you'd probably be more than that, but one time where the cash out can absolutely be your friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Based on the flow of the game. You got a great ticket there on somebody at 300 to 1 who scores a touchdown early in the game defensively, and he drops down to like pick 'em to win the award. Okay, there's a lot of football left to be played. They love to give it to a quarterback, so there you go.
If that's a true story, he did the right thing by cashing. I mean, no doubt about that.
We had multiple people reach out, email us, brought it up on the air yesterday. DeJean's my pick for MVP, the long shot. Well, I'll tell you, I was not happy with myself when he picked it off and ran it back. I didn't have him in my pocket.
I know.
To win the award. I'm like, oh my God, if they're right here, I'm going to go to Hoover Dam when this game's over with.
Well, the birthday thing and everything.
Right,
Absolutely. Right. We were saying also what couple bad results before we get to the good.
Oh no, that was pretty much about it. I mean, obviously we lost quite a few, but I mean those were the two big ones that stood out.
Okay, and then everyone must have had Barkley. Barkley couldn't score. Kelsey couldn't score.
Barkley under rushing yards was really good, and him not to score a touchdown was very, very good. So, but the great one was the most popular prop year in and year out is the first player to score a touchdown. We write more business on that thing for me in the last 20 years. That's a constant. That's just a given. People absolutely love that. And in this game, it was craziness. I mean, because everyone thought Dotson was in. Everyone live, they called it a touchdown, and of course you come back from the commercial and they're looking at it. We lose like 106,000 if Dotson scores the touchdown. There was some money on him at like 95 to 1. Hurts, we do real well with. So we're sitting there. It's a good 6-figure swing one way or the other, and fortunately that went our way. But just imagine if you had Dotson at 95 to 1. You just want to puke.
I had pizza money on him here at 90 to 1. I had him 85 to 1 in another book, and I had 66 to 1 as well. But
There you go.
it all adds up, and I'll tell you, it would have been a hell of a day if he's in there.
100%. That's brutal.
What if they give it to Barkley at the 1?
There was
good?
zero chance. Zero chance. Push.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying from your standpoint.
Yeah, I think that was about break even.
Oh,
just because the odds were so small that
All right.
there's so much money in that pot, it just dwarfs it. But Hurts was really good. Yeah, I mean, if he didn't go out of, if he was at the 2, Barkley has a chance. But inside the 1, they can't wait to shove him because no one stopped him ever.
Well, thanks to you and your staff. Yeah, you'll be on once we get back to March Madness again. You know, we had Bennett on, Richie. I'm trying to get Richie on Friday. Are you in his will? What's the story with Bachelary?
Yeah, I'm his. I get everything.
If he
House,
passes
cars,
away,
guitars, and baseball cards.
what's the card collection like?
It's good. He's got a little bit of everything. He's a pretty shrewd guy.
He said it. He doesn't have no family. If I pass away, everything goes to Bogdanovich.
No, it's just that I got a key to his house and I'll beat everyone to it.
Get out of here.
I just got to know that he drops dead so I can get over there in time.
Are you doing anything to help out that cause?
Yeah, I send him like cartons of cigarettes weekly, so I'm trying to get him toward the finish line fast.
Oh, man. He's got to slow down. Every time I see him, he's got a smoke break going. I mean, come on, buddy.
He smokes 2 packs a day and he's the healthiest guy I know. He's never sick. He runs 4 miles on the treadmill every day. I mean, he's a freak.
Is that true? 2 packs a day?
Yeah.
And he does 4 miles on the treadmill.
But he eats healthy and he does 4 miles on the treadmill, so it
Balances it out, huh?
balances it out.
This is nuts. Oh, man. God. Oh, that's so good. Where's my read? Oh, that's awesome.
Have you seen the actual card collection?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What are we talking? Jordans?
It's a beauty. Mainly baseball, but he does
Mantle?
have some basketball. No mantles. No mantles.
Give me something. What's the biggest?
Yeah.
Any idea? I don't
don't
care
know.
about the size. I want to talk about the value.
I don't know. I really
Well,
don't.
you'll find out, right? You got
Yeah.
the key to the house.
Yeah.
All right, win-win. Great year. You're the man. Sports betting never slows down. Neither should you. Daytona 500 coming this weekend. NBA, NHL, well, full swing. I mean, I'm on break at the same time. Unbelievable. PGA Tour underway. MLB season. March Madness right around the corner. No shortage of action. Start betting smarter. VSiN Pro subscription, $9.99. Daily email, all the plays, every host, every guest. Cheaper than a box of donuts at Pink Box. Place your bets. Get in there now. Full access, $9.99. VSiN.com/subscribe, baby.
Arash Markazi joins the program coming up next from the Sporting Tribune in L.A. Luka is making his Lakers debut tonight. What are we expecting here? How many minutes? Points-wise? That's coming up next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Fun NBA card tonight. Exciting debut in Los Angeles as Luka is going to be playing for the Lakers. They're huge favorites against the Jazz. Also, Pauly, they're playing great basketball as a side note. And we head to L.A. right now. Arash Markazi joins the program. He is the founder and CEO of the Sporting Tribune. He's on the Progressive guest line. Do I have this right? You were in New Orleans at the Super Bowl last night, and now you're going to be in L.A. at this game tonight?
Yeah, just kind of like a quick turnaround, but saw a kind of a dud of a game, but I enjoyed the halftime show. I know that's polarizing as well, depending on if folks out there are Kendrick Lamar fans, but yes.
Scale from 1 to 10. When you go back, 2 Saturdays ago now, your level of shock when you saw the trade come down.
I mean, it's 10. It'll forever be the most shocking trade for me in sports history, because when you talk about a team trading a 25-year-old, 5-time first-team All-NBA, led you to the NBA Finals just a few months ago. I mean, we've seen big-name players get traded. That's mainly because they're either demanding a trade or they've, fallen off. I mean, you generally, the prime of one's career, 26 or 27 or 31 or 30, like he's not even in his prime. So for them to trade him for a package, we like the entire league and the fan base knew that the Lakers had 2 first-round picks to work with. They also had some young pieces, the Dalton Connect and Austin Reeves and what. Like the fact that the Lakers made this trade for Davis, Max Christie and 1 first-round pick. Not a second pick, not a pick swap, not Austin Reeves, who just dropped 45 points, not Dalton Connect. The package is still crazy to me.
And AD gets hurt and might be out a month. The trade gets worse by the day. I'm stunned.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The Lakers really traded Davis at the absolute, peak of his trade value in the sense that, listen, he's never been more healthy during probably a 2-year span. But if we're being honest, this wasn't continued. And to be honest, when they traded him, he was hurt. But the thought process was that he was going to be back over the weekend, which he was. And then now he gets hurt. And guys, if he's out a month, that's the best case scenario. There's a scenario here where he has to have surgery and he's out for the season, which is absolutely catastrophic. You make this trade, why? To win the finals. You already went to the NBA finals with Luka. So you don't even make this trade to get back to the finals because you were just there. It's a little bit like the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade. The Rams only did that to win the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl with Goff. They realized, if we're going to win this thing, we need to make this trade. They traded for Stafford. They won. So that trade will be a success. But, man, I just even if Davis is healthy and I look at that Mavs team and I'm like, they're good, but they got a short shelf life and they got to win now. And so if Davis is out for a month or more, they're in a tough spot.
All right, so what are the expectations for tonight then? At DraftKings right now, Lakers a huge favorite. They're laying 12 points against Utah. The total's up to 236 in this game, and the team has been blazing hot on offense, going back a good 5 or 6 games. Luka's points prop tonight, Arash, is 27.5. Is he going to play enough minutes to potentially go over that number?
So that's a big question for me. I'm so fascinated by how Luka's going to play this second half, quote unquote, second half of the season. I don't know if we're really going to see that tonight, just because of a restriction, perhaps. But the amount of crap that the Mavs front office, the ownership, the president, the leakage that they've dumped on this guy. This, generally speaking, right? Jordan and players like LeBron, they have to create a chip. It's guys, you're already the best. No one's saying this stuff. For them to publicly come out and say what they've said about Luka, I don't know if we'll see it tonight, but the next time, and I know it's going to be coming up soon, when the Lakers play the Mavs, take the over. I think this guy's going to put up 60 on them.
Wow.
He's going to come out so pissed off in that game.
Yeah.
One would think anyway, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
How about how the team's playing now? So now you get one of the best players in the NBA to join up and make his debut tonight. They've won 9 of 10 and 5 in a row. And then you sit people Saturday, and Reeves, only the 6th Laker all time to have 45, 7, and 7 in a game? Do you think this team can make a deep postseason run now?
Yeah, so here's the thing. The problem with the deep run is there's no size, there's no center. And again, I know everyone was excited about the Mark Williams deal, but the fact of the matter is, if he wasn't going to be healthy, if they were going to make that trade and he was going to be hurt, you would rather have that you would rather know that before the trade becomes official. They're going to be a very exciting regular season team to watch. How deep they can go, we'll see. But I'm so fascinated to watch tonight for the first time, All-Star game, LeBron and Luka as teammates, because one of the big reasons that this run has happened is LeBron. And we've talked about this for a while, but we've never seen a player at 40 doing what he's doing. Triple doubles, 30-point triple doubles. This is, if LeBron's going to play like that, and if Luka can become the player he was a year ago, which I think he can, who knows what this team can do? You have 2 of the smartest players and 2 of the greatest playmakers on the same team.
Yeah, the points scored here by this team now going back 134, 128, 122, 120, and 124 all in wins. When the deal first happened, Arash, my reaction was, well, let's see here. It's Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, all 3 players, very ball dominant. How do you think that's going to work with all 3 of those guys on the court at the same exact time?
I mean, because here's the thing, and I agree with you, but LeBron for years has really wanted to play the facilitator role. I mean, he's really not – I think he's really done this out of necessity, but he's really wanted to kind of say, hey, listen, I'd rather pass the baton. And he wanted to pass the torch to Davis. It didn't happen. So I really think when you have two of the smartest players in the league on the court, they're going to figure out a way to make it work. So, I do want to give them some time to figure things out. I think we're all going to be tuned in tonight thinking it's going to be showtime from night one, and I do think that they'll have their moment. But give them a few games, give them a few practices, and I'm really excited to see what these two can potentially do together.
At full strength from now until the end of the season, who's better, you think, the Lakers or the Clippers?
I think the Lakers, I don't know why the Clippers have kind of hit a wall. And listen, I mean, this was a lot of the pundits out there didn't really think that this was a contending team. I always thought that they were a playoff team. I mean, there were some out there who didn't really think this was a playoff team, when they lost Paul George. I don't know what Ben Simmons can give them. But listen, the big question here, and they've never had this happen since 2020, if Kawhi can be healthy in the postseason, this team has a chance. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they have a chance to win it all, but I do think that they have a chance to win a playoff series.
Well said. What grade do you give Redick? And do you think he can be a good coach?
Yeah, I give him a B and like a solid B. I mean, I think like he's really done the most with what he can. I'm very interested and intrigued with what he's going to do with Luka. He's always been such a big Luka fan, and if you haven't tuned in, he had Luka on his podcast a couple of times, and hearing those guys talk about the game was really kind of interesting, and it was great like at the time. But now knowing that there's going to be a player-coach dynamic, really intrigued with what they can do. But listen, if JJ, has this team as a, top 6 seed, so they're not in the play-in tournament, if they can win a first-round game, again, I know that's not the expectation for the Laker fan base. But when you talk about a team that got bounced in round one the way that they did, I think if he can win a playoff series, that is a successful first season.
Yeah, enjoy the game tonight and follow Arash on X. He's at Arash Markazi all over social media as well, and the Sporting Tribune. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
There you go. He was on the Progressive Guest Line. DraftKings already has a bunch of player props up for that Mavericks game against the Lakers on February 25th.
Yeah.
Luka, 40-plus points is plus 310.
This one's tough tonight with his props because it could be a blowout, minutes restriction, right? Coming back.
I mean, I'd like to say I'm going to bet the under on it, but then if he has 24 at halftime, I'm going to be like, why did I do that bet? That was stupid.
Yeah.
But everything you're saying makes sense. Utah stinks. I mean, the Lakers are playing elite right now offensively.
How about this? How about how well they're playing?
I know.
Yeah, I know. I don't care for the report today. That Dave McMenamin report. LeBron. I begged him to trade the picks, and now they do it. Yeah, well, he's 25. You're late 30s, 40 years old. The guy's 25. Attention all serious sports bettors. If you're thinking about playing in the 2025 Circa Millions or Survivor, get ahead of the game. Winners Circle Proxy and VSiN get exclusive offers, including a drawing for a free Circa contest entry with proxy service. Lock it in. winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN. winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN.
A legacy discussion is up next. Another great example of how football is a team game.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in the aftermath of the Super Bowl. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard, live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort Casino, coming up in the final hour of today's program. The good, the bad, and the ugly from the game. Aaron Renning's going to be on the show, professional sports bettor. His thoughts on the NBA card that we have tonight. We'll recap our bets that we had in the Super Bowl. We did talk about this yesterday and going back to last week with how big that game was going to be for Mahomes' legacy. Like, had they won, we're talking about the only team ever to three-peat in the Super Bowl era. And then where would that put him amongst the likes of Tom Brady? Is he right on his heels at that point? To me, again, I'm not a big legacy guy. I got destroyed over the head. It was just a shovel from ESPN and other spots for years. The Manning and Brady stuff that wouldn't stop. And then every day during the summer for 8 straight years, it was Jordan versus LeBron. I'm like, are you really this lazy? You can't come up with something new to talk about. Mm-hmm. So it ruined me forever. I don't really care about it. You do. You're a big legacy guy. Where are you at now?
No, I'm with you with that discussion, though.
Oh.
I mean, come on. It's the same thing I said years ago that I'll say now. There's nothing Mahomes can do to pass Brady. And I said the same thing when LeBron, who probably is the second best player of all time, but there's nothing he can do to pass Jordan. When you are being guarded in a finals game by J.J. Barrera and you refuse to shoot, post him up, demand the ball game, and you lose the series as a result. I mean, the guy was standing in the corner for much of the series being guarded by that guy. And you're down 40-6 in a Super Bowl, and you play like that, and he's 0-2 against Brady. That's it. And the other thing was about, Jordan always rose to the moment. Jordan was 6 rings, never lost, never went to a Game 7. You can say the same thing, too, about Montana. Like, Montana always won, and Montana delivered in those Super Bowls, and now these are not 1, it's 2. The first one, you let some stuff slide just because the O-line was decimated, and I thought he hung in there and made some plays. But to have 2 blowouts on your resume is going to be hard for Mahomes even maybe to pass Montana now.
Well, I mean, so how much do, rings factor in for you?
It's not the be-all, end-all, because I loved Marino. I still thought, before Brady, I thought no one was better than Elway.
Yeah.
I mean, he had trash, what he had to work with. And John Madden said it, that he carried teams to those Super Bowls, and Dan Reeves handcuffed him, what he did early on. I thought Elway was incredible, but it was a completely different game back then, too.
Yeah, this is always to me, too, people are just going to throw out the rings comment, and to me, that's silly. Is this, if you want to just is it the resume, or are we talking about, most skilled? Because I can tell you, I think Mahomes is more skilled than Tom Brady, and I don't even hesitate saying that. I also think, and my God almighty, I'm going to have to duck for saying this, I think a guy like Aaron Rodgers is more skilled than Tom Brady, only has 1 Super Bowl. Doesn't mean he's, has the better resume. Not what I'm saying, more skilled, though, I thought. Overall, maybe a little bit there with Aaron Rodgers, and, people always wanted to say that Joe Montana was the best because he was 4-0. He had great teams. What does 4-0 mean? Brady was 7-3. He made 10 of them, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
He made 10.
Yep.
So you really want to say that Montana, because he's 4-0, is better? What are we doing here?
The guy won a Super Bowl with Antoine Smith as his running back. I think he had 600 yards that year.
Right. But to me, and I will point this out, because I think it has to be said, that I do hate quarterback records. I think they're stupid. Meaning what's the overall? This quarterback is 37-1 now it's a team game. So yesterday, again, to run down the whole timeline here, this was in the first half. The Eagles' pressure rate was up to 52.4% with 0% blitz rate. At halftime, the Eagles had a 47% pressure rate without blitzing once. For the entire game, according to ESPN research, the Eagles blitzed Mahomes on 0 of his 42 dropbacks. Mahomes, 6th quarterback in Super Bowl history to not be blitzed a single time. All 6 quarterbacks lost. On top of that, if you go back and look, and I have some of the quotes from the Buccaneers Super Bowl, Bowles basically said, he wasn't going to be able to beat us in a typical Mahomes game. That Sunday, the Buccaneers blitzed 5 times. Mahomes dropped back 52 times. That blitz rate was 9.6%. On the season, the Buccaneers blitzed 39% of the time, 5th most in the NFL. So think about that. A 30% less blitz rate because they didn't have to, because his offensive line was so bad. Couple that in with what happened with the Eagles. And I will point out, again, going back, team game here, right? With Tom Brady. In reverse order, the Patriots beat the Rams 13-3. That year, the Rams averaged 30.8 points per game, 2nd most in the NFL. 412 plus yards per game, 3rd most, and 6.2 yards per game, 3rd most overall. In that game, LA had 14 first downs and 260 yards of offense. They averaged 4.3 yards per play. 3 points. Is that Brady? 3 points. How about the year before that, though? Eagles 41, Patriots 33. Patriots had 613 yards, 29 first downs, and they had the ball for 26 minutes. Brady threw for 505 yards. They averaged 8.5 yards per play. They didn't punt. Neither did Philadelphia.
Yep.
So they lost that game, and he threw for more than 500 yards. If the defense shows up, he wins that game. In 2002, when the Patriots beat the Rams 20-17, think about this for a second. The Rams were 14-2. They scored 503 points in the regular season. The Colts scored the second most, 413. The Niners scored 409. No other team in the league scored more than 400 points. 12 teams scored fewer than 300 points on the year. So it was the Rams up here and everybody else. Like, they were by far and away the best offense in the NFL. The Rams had 3 points going into the fourth quarter. And their other 2 playoff games that year, they beat Philly to go to the Super Bowl 29-24, and they routed Green Bay 45-17. So again, to me, team game. And the quarterback records are just nonsense overall.
Well, he's had some close calls. He also could be 10-0. The Tyree catch, the Manningham play, and then what you said, he throws for 500 yards and they lose the game.
Right.
Also
down 28. You can spin that several ways. 28-3 to the Falcons.
Yeah, you're right. But 7-3 in the Super Bowl. Walked off the field in the fourth quarter or overtime with the lead in all 10. Mahomes 3-2, 2 losses by a combined 40 points.
Yeah, got routed twice.
Yep. Yep. But he's got a lot of time left. And certainly fair point about the talent that Montana had on those teams. I always argued if Elway was on that team, they'd never lose.
I
like
the
Montana,
same thing.
but I loved Elway. I love Marino, but his criticism, he couldn't win the big one. But again, you got to have help. But this is the conversations like this I love. You're sitting around with your buddies at the bar, whatever, and the same thing. NBA, Bird, Magic, Jordan, whoever, Gretzky, hockey, Lemieux, whatever. I mean, this is fun stuff.
I will say this, honestly, it wore on me after a while, and I appreciated his greatness, but. People talking about the Chiefs' fatigue. Every single time the way it felt, the Patriots, when they needed like a 3rd and 7, you knew what was going to happen. They were going to go to shotgun, and there was going to be like Julian Edelman, who was going to be open on the left over by the sideline for 11 yards, and there's a first down late in the game. Brady just seemingly made that pass or got it when it mattered most way more often than he didn't. And that's the vision that I have in my head thinking about him in his career, right? Just the biggest spots imaginable, he rarely failed. But, how many times was he facing an overall... He lost to the Giants when they got the front four, and the pressure got to him a lot in that 2007 Super Bowl. It's not easy to overcome that.
Isn't that funny? 0-2 against Eli.
How about that?
That is wild.
0-3? Well, no, not 0-3, but all 3 losses against teams out of the NFC East. And then the craziest thing about that is he goes to Tampa... And in his first year,
I know.
And he can look at Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and say, hey, guys, you've been here for a long time. I just won my first one ever playing in the NFC for the first time in 20-plus years. You guys have been here as long as I have.
That's your big boy.
Where you been?
Yep, you're right. ProfitX, peer-to-peer exchange available in 40-plus states. Instead of betting against sports books, you're competing against other fans. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. NBA heating up. March Madness around the corner. Right now, ProfitX offering 0% commission on all college basketball games through President's Day, February 17th. Experience the ProfitX advantage firsthand. Download ProfitX with code VSiN today.
I mean, think about what Mahomes has to do still just to play in as many Super Bowls that Tom Brady did. He still has him doubled up, and it feels like Mahomes is there every single year. He's been in 5. Brady was in 10. Mm-hmm. He has to get to 5 more.
Yeah. Although it does help him, it appears you're going to have a stranglehold on that division, though. I mean, that's the other thing. That's the benefit Brady had. So many teams couldn't get their act together. When it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get at least the 2 seed. And at the time, that meant the bye.
Yeah. Unless Harbaugh's good enough to spin his magic there and overtake him, which will bring us to the good, the bad, and the ugly from the game. We have to be better as a society. You can't have the same stupid reaction every single year.